customers, talking to customers, and sharing their experience. The reason for this is because people don't trust what they're reading online anymore, especially younger people compared to older people. So people aren't, they might read something, some press article or something, they're not trusting it, but they're trusting what their friends are saying. Also, it's a very lonely time. It may be the most lonely time in the course of human history, with people saying they don't have friends, they don't have close friends. So the people that they do talk to, the people that they are friends with, they really trust what they say. And so you need to try to get some of these people. So this is this game where it's kind of like a virtual reality maps game where you go and find different things. And anyways, they had this incredible meetup of the community coming together. This was before COVID. COVID, no one was going anywhere. And now, people are back in a different way. In some cases, people can't get enough of experiences because we were so cooped up for a few years. In some ways, people are nervous about being in person in a different way than they were before. So the world keeps evolving and changing, but what doesn't change is people's need for community, for feeling a part of something, and you and your product and your brand can help facilitate that. The good news is that 84% of people said they'd be willing to share their perspective with other buyers. 22% of buyers will have written a review. 14% will serve as a reference. 11% have provided a testimonial. 9% have participated in a case study. People want to help. People, if they like your product, you just need to ask. You need to find ways and avenues to get them to help. But if you ask them, they will help. And so, it can be scary, you can be shy about doing that, but don't. Go ask and find your most passionate super users and fans and ask them to help you to spread the word. Okay, so creating a playbook, this is the final thing I'll share. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And we can answer those as I finish up a few of these slides. There's something called the space model, and this is something you can look up and read in great depth about it. It was something that was coined by a really incredible community builder named David Space, and he basically sort of organize different areas of community building into 5 sections. First, support and success. So when you're thinking about why would I build a community, why would I do these kinds of things, you need to have a goal, right? So are you doing it to help support your customers? Are you doing it for finding new ideas? Are you doing it for acquiring new customers? Are you doing it to build content, to create engagement and awareness? You sort of figure out what your goal is, and then you go build a strategy around whatever the specific area is that you're trying to go after. So usually the people that I have worked with on this, it's usually around, I'd say the biggest ones are either acquiring new customers or helping existing customers. But it can be any number of other things as well. So a couple of ideas here as well is really defining what your mission and values are. And those need to be inspirational. I mentioned Startup Grind's values at the beginning. And, our values of giving more than you take, helping others, and making friends. The values become like a magnet. You played with a magnet before. Like it attracts people that are like you. And so really stating those up front and articulating those can be a huge help to achieving what you want to achieve. You need to educate, you need to help. So, people don't want to be sold to. So finding ways that you can just add value to people's lives, and education is a huge way to do that. Identify the people that are your biggest users, the people you can help the most, and then go figure out how to help them. And that can be, go figure out what's going on in their life, or figure out what they need. It could be related to your product, it could be related to many other things. But go figure out how to help them. You know, to build anything that's going to grow, you have to do non-scalable things at the beginning. You have to, don't be afraid to get on the phone with someone and talk to them. Don't be afraid to, write someone a nice personal letter. To just do the small thing that people will remember and share with their friends. Make sure everybody can win in some way. Make sure you think about the value across each person and each section that will be involved. And then my own personal mantra, that you never yell at a volunteer, never yell at a customer, never yell at somebody that's trying to help you with your product or startup company. It doesn't end well, so no need to yell. I just wanted to talk about 3 quick communities, and then the first is Salesforce, and they're kind of one of the big companies that has, one of the biggest and best companies that has made community a core part of their strategy, and they've done an amazing job at giving people a chance to succeed professionally through their community. And many companies in America try to copy what Salesforce has done, and companies all over the world. And I think the hard thing to do to copy is that it's deeply in their DNA. It's with their founder. It's at the very, very core of what they do and who they are. And so it's very, very hard to copy. But this is this amazing community. One very different gears. This is a community that I care a lot about, which is kids sports, Little League baseball. This is something that my kids have gotten into, and as a result, I've also gotten into. I think the thing I love about Little League baseball is nobody does it for money. People only do it because they really care about it. They really care about helping kids. And so it becomes this really, really sort of altruistic thing that people do, and you get really well-intentioned people that are part of it, really good people. But this idea of authenticity, if you really care about what you're doing, people will feel it, people will see it, and so make sure you're working on something that you care about, and it'll just come right out of you. And then finally, the amazing community that all of you are part of. It's so inspired by Africa's stocking community and what y'all are doing, and we are grateful at Bevy to be able to work with the community to help all the incredible things that y'all are doing, and be a very small, tiny part of the good that's being created through this community. So I'm super grateful to be here with you all, and to be able to be part of this event. My email address is just Derek@Bevy.com, which is my first name, DEREK@Bevy.com. And if I can be helpful in any way to anyone here, please reach out. and let me know what I can do and how I can support. But it's great to be with you. I'm happy to open it up to any questions that might exist, and then after that we can wrap. So,
but I'm fascinated by your idea of authenticity. It's very important to be interactive, and sometimes as developers we tend to emphasize that which brings people to the app. So in terms of authenticity, to what extent can we remain ourselves, but also bringing users to the platform? Because there's a tendency to emphasize that which sort of is an eye-catching kind of thing that draws people to, which may not be your emphasis as a developer. How do you balance that?
Well, I mean, if you don't have a good product, you're not going to get very far. So I think that has to be at the core of everything you do. That's the number one thing. But, having a great product and no one seeing it is kind of useless. So, you've got to develop a strategy of how am I going to get people to see this? How am I going to get people excited about this? So you need a distribution strategy as well. And so, when you're building a product, you're building with hopefully one or a few very specific people or a very specific audience in mind. And once you build for them, you need to go speak with them and get them to use it. And then figure out, as I talked about, how do I make them professionally and personally, how do I make their lives much better? And one of the ways you can do that is by solving problems for them, but also there can be other things. And I think my point is to say that they'll want to help you the way that people are today. They'll want to help you if you're solving a real problem. So go solve real problems. Go build elegant solutions to those problems. But then don't forget that you need to cultivate a way for those people to talk and to communicate and to improve their lives beyond just the problem you're solving. And in that way, you can start to build a community with your customers. Even if you just have 5 or 10 customers, or 20 customers, or 2 customers, you can build a community from the very beginning. It can be very simple, but you need to be talking to those people. So it's kind of a win-win. You can help them improve their lives, but you can also get a lot of feedback and get closer to customers. So. But yeah, focus on the product, but also create a distribution strategy, and you can use building a community to do that.
I'm Steven. Yeah, I like the concept of make friends, give first, and help others. But now, how do you balance? You don't want to give so much so that you are constrained with your resources. How do you balance that?
I know it's different in different places, and I won't begin to act like I understand, everything that's going on where you are. What I would say is that universally across the whole world, if you take a mindset of giving first, you will win in the end. I've seen that so many times. In Silicon Valley, one of the special things about Silicon Valley is that these values are pretty prevalent across the whole area. This is like the culture of work here. I know it's not like that in many, many other places, but I can tell you, if you adopt them, if you take the next 6 months and everyone you meet in business, if you say first, I'm going to help this person first, I promise you,
you will get more out of it. Like, you will benefit more from that than they will. Because one, like, when you serve people, all your problems go away. So the more you serve, the more your life improves. But two, people will start to know that you're this kind of person. You're a help first person, and you're not a selfish person. And people will start to talk about it. Think, oh, you know this person, you know, that it's amazing. Every time I talk to them, they help me, and I just want to help them. I really want to do something for them. And it will come back. It'll swing back, and it will hit you. You just have to trust. I would encourage you, you can never give too much. You can't. So I've never seen anybody say, okay, I've given too much. Like, you'll see, if you just go out, don't do it for 6 months, do it for 2 months. And everyone you talk to, say to them, how can I help you? And mean it, and then go help them. People will be shocked. You will see, people will be shocked. They will remember who you are. And it's very hard to stand out. So just try that for a few months. If it doesn't work, you can stop. I think you'll find that it'll help a lot. And if you do it for 6 months or a year, or many years, you will build a reputation where you will just rise up above everyone else. Because most people are too selfish to do something like that. And they're too short term, but if you think long term, if you think, how do I build a reputation for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, not just right now, you'll really stand out and be different. And I promise it'll help a lot in the long term. Maybe not right today, but even in a short period, it will really help you a lot. So give it a try.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'm so sorry to jump. I know we started, I know the event's running a little bit late, but I've got to get my kids to school. So it's wonderful to meet you all. Like I said, I'm just Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at bevy.com. Shoot me a note if I can be helpful, and I hope you have a great rest of the day and event. And really thankful to be part of it. Thank you for including me.
Next, yeah, our session is building mobile apps, Android apps, or building mobile apps or Android apps at scale. Then what we mean by building mobile apps at scale means that the moment that you have that project, that client project, that company-based project, that maybe you want to have it done, from the start, that you start it in such a way that it's scalable, in such a way that whenever the product grows, it's able to scale faster and maybe efficiently. Then with that, we're going to look at it with building scalable Android applications with Jetpack Compose. Then, yeah, we'll see what Jetpack Compose is and how we can use it. Yeah, then, yeah, let's have a few icebreakers. Then, yeah, how many of us are Android engineers? Nice. Android. Yeah. Or even, basically, yeah, it might not be Android, but as long as you're a software engineer, you build apps. Yeah, then, yeah, the first one was, how many of you have ever built an app that crashed because of many users? You ever built an app, and then after you build an app maybe for like a month, a week, then it's working perfectly on your machine. Then the moment now you test it out to your users, it crashes. Yeah. Then second one is, it's a joke. Then I once built an app that worked perfectly on my machine. Then until my mom and our entire WhatsApp group started using it, and it suddenly crashed and things went downhill. Yeah, that's really almost related to the first one. Like, you build an app, you test it on your machine. When you test it on your machine, that means you test it as a single user. Then the moment now you add 1 or 2 users, crashes. We'll see on to that later. Then number 3, it's an imagination. Like, imagine, like, your app has 1 million users overnight. Then all of a sudden it breaks up. Then the question that I would like us to ask ourselves is, what breaks first? Is it the server, the UI, or your sanity? Your sanity is your mentality. Yeah. Then the third one, the fourth one is, it's a research that I saw somewhere that says an average smartphone user opens more than 80 apps per day. Then now the question that you need to ask yourself is will your app stand out to be one of those 8 apps that will be opened? Then by the end of the day, we'll see how many techniques we'll learn, how many new techniques we'll learn, and to make our apps bulletproof. And let's find out. Yeah. The introduction. Yeah, in the today's self-paced digital world, mobile apps need not only to deliver seamless user experience, but also to scale efficiently to meet growing demands. We not only need to deliver that nice user experience, that functional app, but also an app that will be able to scale further. And as we've seen from the icebreakers, that whenever you build the app, that app puts the user at your mind, at the center of the solution. Then know that you are not only beautiful that for that one user that maybe you are targeting, because sometimes when you build it, you come up with a solution. Probably you met one person that explained to you the problem that is facing, or 1 or 2, or maybe your family. Then once now you launch that product, you never know how many users it's going to attract. Then that's why we need to put it in such a way that it's scalable and is able to hold on to more than 1 million users. Yeah. Then building apps at scale requires a balance between design, performance, and agility, and to adapt to ever-changing user needs and technology landscapes. Yeah. Then a question: why should we consider scalability when building mobile apps? Then there's a quote that says, whenever your app gets big, there is no silver bullets that will magically solve all your pain points. Only tough trade-offs to make. Yeah. Whenever you start that app, it probably may be targeted 1 or 2 users, or maybe 100 users. But later on, you find that the app now, people start using the solution for other things other than the one that you targeted. Then once it reaches that point, you've no other option other than to try all the tough trade-offs to make it, to scale it further. Yeah. Then we have the challenges. Then from now, we're going to look at the challenges and then solution that we can see from that. That's challenge that mobile developers, or you as a mobile engineer or a software engineer you'll face. Then we see how we can solve that. Then the first challenge comes with state management. State management, we'll explain that later. Then state management, we have mistakes are hard to revert. By mistakes being hard to revert means that, like, you probably build that application, deploy it today, then release it on Play Store or App Store. Then once you release that app to Play Store, that means your user goes onto the Play Store to download that application and then starts using it. If maybe the app that you just released had a bug, that means that the end product that the user will download to his or her phone will still have that bug. And maybe then after some time you realize from the Google Analytics, or from the Crashlytics that you find it on your Play Store account, find that like someone, or maybe it's the reviews that are given by the users, find that maybe the app is crashing or maybe it has a bug. Then, of course, as a software engineer or as an Android engineer, you'll now go back to the drawing board and fix that bug, then publish the corrected version. Now, the issue of mistakes being hard to refactor comes in this way, that maybe once you release that app to Play Store, then it has a bug, the user downloads it, and then finds that bug and then reports it. Then sometimes you could find that like the app has been downloaded by around 100 users. Then once you release now the revised version of it, only around 3 get that automatic updates to update it. So at the end of the day, you'll find that like 3 of you are running the right version of your app, and then the rest 90 or 97 are running the wrong version of it. Then at the end of the day, your app gets a wrong review, and then your app that doesn't serve the purpose that you had developed it to serve. So that means that when building, we need to put in to consider measures that will help us to track those bugs, like in a scalable way, that whenever you develop it iteratively, feature by feature. Then by the time you release the final feature, at least you've tested it internally, to make sure that once it reaches the user, the user gets the right version of your app. Then the other one is the long tail of odd versions. Then still related to that mistake, you find that the long tail of versions, by this I mean that you find that like maybe you've released your app, maybe alpha app version 1. Then after some time now you start scaling the app to some bit. Then with our Android phones or maybe iOS, they comes with that feature like that you can enable it to automatically update your app whenever you're on the internet. But some people disable that feature, and you find that at the end of the day, your users, only a few portion of your users update it regularly. Then that's why now we need to put in other measures to ensure that your app, like whenever you release a feature, it sort of does force updates to at the end for the user. There are those links that maybe redirect to other sites. Then the other one that makes your app maybe bulky or sort of that. Then the other one is push and background notifications. Those are notifications that run behind the scenes. Then app crashes. Then offline support. Then availability, CI/CD. CI/CD and build train. Let me explain. By offline capability, we mean that like whenever you're building an app, consider that, for example, like this is an Africa Stalking Summit, and Africa Stalking means Africa is talking. And one thing we need to consider, like as Africans, that Africa, we're always facing an issue with internet, and though we've gone to 5G, Africa is still lagging behind to 2G. Like a lot of users are still using. A lot of people are still in areas that are facing low internet connectivity, or even there's no internet at all. Then that's why we need, whenever you build your app, consider offline capabilities such that at least if it needs internet, minimize the rate of like internet connectivity, and we'll see that in future. But to touch on the offline support for mobile apps, you make it like such that you apply this part of this background. No, it's not that one. But you apply, like you do that workflow management that whenever you find that like most of your app features are working offline, but at the end of the day, maybe probably in the midnight or at whenever like your user accesses internet, it now syncs the data to the database at once, so that like now in the middle of the day, maybe when the user is using that app, you can do it offline, then it syncs that data. Yeah. Then the other one is accessibility of your app. Lets you make it accessible to users with different device sizes. So, because you find that even for us here, everyone has a smartphone that has a different screen size. Then you find that maybe you build an app for Android 12, but whenever you load it in Android 10 or Android 13, it like the screens are not that adaptable or that flexible to fit in the content. Then the other one is CI/CD and build train. That's like building that CI/CD pipelines for your app, for the Angel development. Then the other one is third-party libraries and the CDKs. Sometimes it's hard to integrate the third-party libraries and the CDKs for Android apps. Then we'll see how to manage that. Then we have device and OS fragmentation. Then in-app purchases. Then now from the explaining this state management, we have state management is the process of tracking and updating the state of your application Like it's the process of tracking and updating the state of your application. For example, like whenever you load your app, it starts with that splash screen. Then later on, maybe a loading state, a success state, and error state. Like those are what we mean by state management. Those error states, those success states, and those loading states. Then in Jetpack Compose, state is represented by a value that can change over time. Like you find that whenever you load your app, it loads that state and then changes to the other state. That's what we mean by state in Jetpack Compose. Then example of state, we have user input. Like for example, maybe input of your name, password, and whatever. Then data from the server. When your app will always query data from your server, you log in. Whenever you log in, it queries that data from your server to your app to allow you to log in. Then you have the user authentication state, then network request state. User authentication state and network request state. Then ways of managing states in Jetpack Compose. We have the stateful composables and stateless composable. We see a sample of that. Then this is an example of a sample of a composable in Jetpack Compose. Then in Jetpack Compose, of course, we start with the annotation at composable. Then your function name, maybe that one, that out view model, and it inherits it queries that data from view model state. Then that's how you declare that those email password from the out view model state class. Then the column, this is now what we meant by the states of your application. You see, it's the loading state, that load that circular progress indicator, the out state, dot error, and this. These are classes. This is a class that maybe is declared somewhere else. For the error, then this one, that's all. Then another disclaimer, manage state in Jetpack Compose is like directing the flow of a river, smooth, responsive, and adaptable. The power lies in your ability to control it without breaking the flow of your UI. Yeah, that's simple quote. Yeah, by this we mean that like when managing that state in Jetpack Compose, it's just a simple step. Like all you need, like whenever you like, if you set your state well, that means your app flows automatically, and your user will not have any issue. For example, like for example, like the load state. Whenever like the user sees that, like whenever like probably the user maybe is logging in as input the password and the username and whatever, then it loads that cycle. Whenever the user sees that load state, it's at least the user is encouraged and sees that like there's something that is happening in the app.